On page 8, we're looking at the skill of least common multiple. So hopefully with this one, the LCM, as soon as I say multiple, think of your hand. Think of counting up on your fingers. A least common multiple is exactly what it says. It's the smallest multiple that numbers have in common. So here is a question. What is the LCM, the least common multiple, of 2, 3, and 5? Now, these happen to be all prime numbers. That doesn't matter at all. It just happens to be that way. My tip for you is to start with your smallest number. In that way, I'll show you in a minute why that is, but that's a good habit to have. So I'm going to start with the smallest number, and that's the 2. And then think of your hand, your multiples on your fingers. You're going to count. Each finger counts as 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We're going to go all the way to 30. 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and 30. And I'm going to stop. I'm going to use an ellipsis there to show that it's not ending. It would go to infinity. But this is just the range that we want to see. So these are the first 15 consecutive multiples of 2. Then I'll do the 3's. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and look at that one, 30. Then the 5's, I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want them to be consecutive. Don't skip any. And there is that common multiple. Now there are others. This is by no means the only one. To give you an example, I could say we know that 30 is a multiple. If we let those lists keep running, we would eventually get to 60. 90 is a common multiple, and that list goes on. But we want the least one, which is the smallest common multiple that we can find. And that's going to be the 30. So the LCM of these is 30. And you will use this skill when you do fractions to get a common denominator. Okay, here is another example. Let's find the LCM, lowest common multiple, of 8, 6, and 12. So let's make the list. You want to start with the smallest one. And I'll show you why in this example. So start running the 6's. Use your fingers to count up if you need them. So 6, 12. Okay, right there. This is why I want to start with the smallest one. I already have a match here and here. Sometimes by starting with the smallest one, you can get to your answer quicker. You don't have to write so many of them if you always work from the smallest one up. That's not a math rule, it's just a hint. But the 12 doesn't work with the 8. So let's keep going. We have 18. And then look at this next one. All right, so 24, I know that will work here. Will it work up here? 8, 16, sure enough, it does. So we could stop there, but I want to keep going just a little bit further because I want you to see something. So I'm going to pick back up with my 6's. I have 30, 36, that would work with the 12, but not with the 8. 42, 48, that works with the 12. It also works with the 8 if we count up. Remember, these are consecutive. We don't want to skip anything. There it is. Let me go just a little bit further. 54, 60, 66, 72, and I've run out of room, so we'll stop there. Let's continue the 12s out to 72. And then the 8s, we will have a 56, a 48, sorry, not 48, 64, and then 72. So let's look at the common ones here. We know the 24 is common. All three of them have the 24. All three of them have the 48. And all three of them have the 72. So those are all common multiples. We want the least one of those. So of the ones I've circled here, what's the smallest one? The least common multiple is 24. Okay, let me show you a practical way that you will use this skill. If on your exam it says to add 3/8 and 11/12. Now, if you have a scientific calculator, you just type it in. But our calculators are not scientific. So I'm going to start with the least common multiple. So let's make the list for 8 and 12. And I'm getting those from the denominators. This 8 and this 12 are these numbers. Denominators on the bottom. Denominator is down, numerators on the top. So let's run the multiple list. I don't have to go far, because as soon as I get one that will work for both lines, I can stop. The lowest common multiple is 24. So that is the best denominator. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the lowest common denominator would be 24 as well. So here's how you use that. No, I'm not. I had made a note here. Do not go that extra step. All we found is the lowest common denominator. When we get to fractions, we will look at the way to use that, but I don't want to go that far just yet. So lowest common denominator is the least common multiple. All right, these are in problem set 4 as well. So if you want to look at those practice problems, there's a video for that. This greatest common factor and least common multiple are in that same problem set, but you can definitely take a look at it if you want. Let me show you what it looks like. You can see where I've worked it. Well, sorry. Here is problem set 4. So greatest common factor, and then there are a bunch of the least common multiples. So try those, see how you do with them.